I had the mad cheese skill and a superior grill. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
Get ready for more. Introducing Hy-Vee Plus. Get a Hy-Vee Plus premium membership for just $99 a year and get fuel savings every time you shop in-store and online. Plus, exclusive deals and offers every month. Plus, you can call our Red Line hotline day or night for anything you need. Plus, free online delivery and free express pickup. Plus, a personal online shopper. With Hy-Vee Plus, our plus equals more. Sign up today. Some restrictions apply.
Riverside Casino and Golf Resort loves a winner. You see it in every game. Play-by-play, everywhere you turn. Whether it's hitting the tables, spending time at your favorite game, or just relaxing, enjoying everything that Riverside Casino has to offer, you can bet we have something for everyone. So make every gameplay count. Your best bet is Riverside Casino and Golf Resort, located just 12 miles south of Iowa City on Highway 218. Let the games begin.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Coach Lisa Bluder, our second show of the season, as Iowa will prepare, jump right back on the road in the Big Ten at Ohio State this Saturday. That is a 11 o'clock tip in Columbus right now, and hopefully it'll stay that way. You got kind of thrown for a loop there, Coach, last week with the game change at Michigan State. Went from a morning game to a late afternoon contest.
I have to expect everything at this point. We got a phone call on Thursday night asking if we would switch the game time from a noon tip to a 4 o'clock tip to avoid their football game, which was then direct conflict with our football game. But they are the home school, and so I think, everybody's trying to adapt to anybody else, this time of year and trying to just get games in. And, I think coaches are trying to work together. I wish our Ohio State game would be a little bit later for us. A noon tip on the East Coast means 11 o'clock tip in our bodies and in our minds. And that makes it really early, and it makes it too early to get a shoot around. And we don't get a shoot around at Ohio State the day before because they have a men's ice hockey game in the arena. And so we're going to be going into this game, our third road game, our second Big Ten road game with no time to shoot in their gym, which I think is a disadvantage. But it's, again, this time of year, you got to do what you have to do.
Our first phone call tonight, Anthony from Des Moines. Anthony, how are you? Good. You as well.
Good to see you guys.
Thank you.
Coach, congratulations on the win against Iowa State. Sorry I didn't see that game. I did saw the highlights, but I have a question for Rob here. I was looking for that game on TV. I was wondering why they didn't televise the Iowa State's women on TV that last week. Coach, tough loss against Michigan State. I just kind of want to know, what do you teach your players on a tough loss after that loss at Michigan State? And
what do I say to them? Or what was that, Anthony? What do I?
What do you teach your players after a loss at Michigan State?
All right. Well, excellent. Anthony, with the Michigan State loss, we were right there. I was, again, our team battled back. We won the third and the fourth quarter. We just dug ourselves too big a hole in the first half. We have to get off to a better start. We got to figure out a way to play as well in the first quarter as we do in the fourth quarter. And we're not doing that right now. And so something is happening with us, either physically or mentally, not being ready to go when the ball is tipped. And so I need to do a better job of that. The UNI game, our first game of the year, we came out gangbusters in that first quarter. But since then, we've been slow starters. And so I need to talk to my captains. I need to try to figure out, what we need to change. Because the mental focus or the intensity is just not there at the beginning. We kind of have to warm up into it. And that's when you're playing against good competition, you can't take a minute off, let alone a quarter off. So that's definitely something. But I think in any loss, there's always things to be learned. We'll go to the film. We had the day off of practice today. They're in finals week. And so we let them have Sunday and Monday to study. But now we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to prep for Ohio State. So that also gives us some time to work on ourselves. And we'll take some things that we need to learn from the Michigan State loss and put them into action. So hopefully we can learn from it.
Yeah, Coach, you talk about the start against the Spartans. Michigan State led after one, 24-16, and then Hawks got outscored in the second 20-12, but then you roared back in the second half and outscored Michigan State 54-42. And just as you've talked about throughout the show, it's tough to get down like that, especially against good teams, climb all the way back and then get over the hump and get a victory.
Yeah, and it might be a little easier at home. But it's not on the road. I mean, when teams are playing confidently, they're on their home court. Those pressure free throws on your home court don't seem quite as daunting as they do when you're on the road. So all those things kind of come into play. So, we need to get off to a better start. We know we need to. And so it's something that we'll have some good discussions about this week and try to really focus and make a concerted change in that. Anthony talked about the TV game. We're disappointed that we're not been on TV yet this year. I think we've had some really good games, and I think the 3 in-state rivalry games were really good. It's too bad that people can't watch our team play, especially this time in a pandemic where you can't come into Carver, you can't. They let no fans come into Michigan State, so none of our fans or their fans could be at that game. So that was even stranger. But I really think the only thing you can do is complain. Complain to the Big Ten Network, complain to the radio stations that aren't carrying us. I really think that is the only option that we have at this point, is they don't think that people want to watch our games. So you got to make sure that we're heard, and that everybody understands, yes, Iowa women's basketball deserves to be on television.
Coach, one thing, you go back to that Michigan State game from a positive standpoint. Obviously, Caitlin Clark, her performance at Michigan State resulted in the honors this week. But then also from a team standpoint, 26 of 28 from the free throw line. You've always had really good free throw shooting teams, but that's one, getting there a lot. Number two, knocking them down at over 90%.
Yeah, 93% scoring from the free throw line. And when you get there 28 times, usually you're thinking that's a victory. And we actually out-rebounded Michigan State by 1. So we did a better job on the boards this game than we had been doing. But our three-point shooting was really off. I mean, we were 4 for 20. Caitlin was the only person that made a three-pointer for us in this game. Again, Monica shot the ball well. She was 10 for 16 from the field, 63%. When I adjust Caitlin's scoring, it's 52% field goal, and Gabby's at 50%, but she only took 2 shots in this game. We had a lot of people off in this game. We had too many turnovers with 19 turnovers. We had more turnovers than assists. We only had 17 assists. McKenna Warnock led us in the assist category with 6, and she also led us with 12 rebounds, which is great. Kate Martin had 3 offensive rebounds, led us in that category for this game. But, it's just a situation of we did not shoot the ball from three-point range as well as they did. And that really, when you look at the stat sheet, they got more opportunities to shoot the ball than we did because they had more offensive rebounds and they had less turnovers. So they had more opportunities to shoot the ball. And then when you shoot the ball better from three-point range, those two things all in concert make it pretty tough to come out with a road win.
From Michigan State's standpoint, what makes them play pretty well, get off to a good start? This has been a good, solid program for several years.
It is. We were really worried about Nia Clouden coming into this game, and she ended up with 21 points. But, she had to earn them. She shot 6 for 16 from the field. She was 0 for 5 from three-point range. She had 4 turnovers in this game, and she's an all Big Ten guard. But Eliza Winston really was the hero in this game. She came off the bench, hadn't started yet, had a poor game in her first performance, but had played well in her 2 games prior to our game. But they put her into the starting lineup, and she had 6 of their 8 three-pointers she made for them. So if you take out her numbers, then they don't shoot very well from three-point range either. But when you're 6 for 12 from three-point range, She has 25 points in this game. She played really, really well and really gave us fits, especially in transition.
So there was no fans there, no parents or anything?
No, there was no fans for either team.
Wow.
And so some of these kids, it was the first time their parents have not seen them play. And, they'd been to every single one of their games beforehand. And so that's tough on parents. But it was a state law, according to Michigan State, that they could not allow any fans into the arena.
Yeah, that is certainly a lot different than even what we saw at Carver Hawkeye Arena last Wednesday, when at least the parents there, you get, 4 tickets per player and coaches, and so it makes some noise anyway, which certainly helps a little bit.
Yeah, and I think the kids sometimes just get a comfort from seeing their parents there and knowing they're there. But, it was the same for Michigan State as it was for us. It's not a situation like they didn't allow our fans, but they allowed theirs in. It wasn't that at all. It was just neither team had the opportunity to have fans, and I think Michigan is just a lot more strict with their rules, and so you have to kind of live with those rules. But I didn't mean to gloss over either, Caitlin's successes and honors that she earned this week, and Freshman of the Week, Big Ten Player of the Week, 2 weeks in a row for those honors, and then also to be named the ESPN Player of the Week. That's pretty amazing for a freshman, and I couldn't be happier for her as far as the awards, the attention she's bringing to our program, the awards she's receiving. Because like last week, she was up there every night in our gym shooting after practice. We had practice in the morning, come back at night, and get some shots up. So she really kind of lives and breathes it, and that's what it takes to be really successful at it. And really happy for her. But we do need to get more people involved in our offense, and we need to continue to work on being disciplined and running our fast break system. And those are all things that she can learn from. But boy, when she learns those things, we are going to have one good basketball team.
No doubt about that. And then you talk about those honors for the ESPN National Player of the Week, the first Big Ten freshman ever to receive that honor. And then back-to-back Big Ten Players of the Week, of course, Freshman of the Week as well. You have to go back to 2015, 2016, when Nebraska's Jessica Shepard was selected twice. So that's quite a few years as well. So there's going to be a lot of searching back in the record books, I think, by the time Caitlin Clark's career is even halfway through.
Oh, I agree with you, Rob. I think there are going to be several records broken, but something, she's played 4 games as a Hawkeye, so it's too early to talk about records, but certainly, her recognition is very well deserved in what she's been able to accomplish. And, that step back 3, the game-winning 3 against Iowa State, you got to have ice water in your veins to A, take it, and B, to believe it's going in, and she did both. And
you have to love her confidence. I heard her post-game talking about that. Hey, if you take that type of shot, you have to believe that it's going in. You have to have the confidence to shoot it in that situation.
And she does. I mean, honestly, every shot she takes, I think, is going in as well. But I think sometimes she settles for a harder shot than she needs to. And that's something I think she can become better at, is trying to work for the good shot and take that shot, toward the end of the shot clock. When she does those things, she is going to be, once she gets a grasp on, playing with a shot clock and playing with really good people around her, like I say, it's going to be pretty good.
Okay, Coach, I understand that you have to take off, and that Jan is going to join us here for the second half of the show.
Yeah,
so appreciate it.
To hearing Jan, and thanks a lot, Rob. And we'll hopefully have everybody tuning in when we play over at Ohio State at 11 o'clock Central Time next Saturday, and then we'll be back at home again for our game against Western Illinois, and that's going to be a 1 o'clock tip on Tuesday. Okay, that's good to know, because I know that was a TBD. So 1 o'clock on Tuesday, holiday week, so you can certainly enjoy Iowa and Western Illinois. Coach, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you this weekend. All the best. Go Hawks.
All right. Head coach Lisa Bluder, Jan Jensen, associate head coach, will join us after the break. Looking to downsize from your family home, the new Oak Knoll East Campus is now open and offers many unique amenities for your active lifestyle. Call 319-351-1720 or visit oaknall.com to set up your personal tour. Oaknall is a proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Also, while the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series is on hold for this season, Iowa's corn farmers will continue to stand behind this unique series and everything that it stands for. Because here in Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Jensen will join us after the break. We'll have more Hawk Talk. Stay with us. This is Hawk Talk from Learfield IMG College.
Is your vehicle worn out from well winter? Before spring arrives, get a free vehicle inspection from my dad and his staff at Dodge Street Tire and Auto. For over 25 good years, they've been your family-friendly, dependable, and honest neighborhood auto repair shop. That's why their loyal customers have once again voted Dodge Street Tire as the best in the area. Don't be left out in the cold. Dodge Street Tire and Auto at the corner of Dodge and Church Street.
Feel the power. Feel the speed. Feel extreme. Hawk fans, get extreme. Powered by Mediacom. And experience streaming so real you can feel it. Whether you're live streaming the game or streaming your favorite series with supercharged speeds up to 1 gig and powerful whole home Wi-Fi, you're in it. Our 100% gigabit technology network was built to take you further. Get ready to feel it. Extreme. Powered by Mediacom.
Imagine a virtual club that's free to join, where the fun never stops and where there's always something new and exciting happening. It's the Prize Zone, a special part of the Iowa Lottery VIP Club that'll make your VIP experience even VIP-ier. Members can enter Prize Zone drawings for cash, technology, lottery tickets, concert tickets, and sports ticket prizes all day, every day, all year long. Get rules and complete details at ialottery.com. Join today and see what's waiting for you in the VIP Club Prize Zone.
MidAmerican Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Are you looking to downsize from your family home to begin your retirement years? Our Oaknall East campus is for you. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director at Oaknall. Our new campus has many unique amenities for your active lifestyle, in addition to providing the same great services that Oaknall has offered our residents for over 50 years. We're now open and have a few 2-bedroom apartments still available. Call me at 319-351-1720 or visit oaknall.com to set up your personal tour. Go Hawks!
Hidden phone trade-ins, hidden plan requirements, hidden catches. You won't find them at US Cellular because we speak fair. Plus, when you switch right now, you can get $500 off the latest phones. That's right, $500 off the latest phones with no hidden requirements, no hidden plan requirements, no hidden phone trade-ins, and no hidden... You get the idea. Upgrade to fair. Upgrade to US Cellular. Requires new postpaid service plan, new line port-in, credit approval, qualified smartphone purchase, and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month RIC. Taxes, fees, and additional terms apply.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk. Rob Brooks, and pleased to be joined for the second half of the show by Jan Jensen, Associate Head Coach. Jan, how are you tonight? Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm doing well. How you doing, Rob?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So Michigan State, we talked a lot about that game. Obviously, getting off to the better starts will help, but a lot of good things as well. I was just interested, too, how the trip went. That was the first flight of the season, first
right.
Big Ten road game, and obviously with the testing and the COVID issues, how smoothly did it go for a couple of days?
You know, it really did go smoothly. It's really kind of odd to think how, you know, in the coaching world, I don't think in 29 years I've ever gone that long without being on an airplane. Because I fly all the time, whether it's a small private plane, a team charter, commercial. So it was just, unique, really, getting on the charter bus and then getting on the plane and then going to land at Michigan. And what's interesting is every state, every hotel, just like really the handling of COVID has been, it's also different. In Michigan, our team could not gather at all together. They wouldn't let us be even in the lobby and eat as a team. We had to be eating individually in our hotel rooms. So that was just kind of an odd feeling. And there was hardly anyone at the Marriott in East Lansing. And then this was our first time of getting tested in the Big Ten protocol, because obviously when we played Drake, we could do it with our normal people. They drove over. And that was just different too. You kind of sit in a holding room and you have to get to shoot around about an hour and a half earlier. So there were, definitely stark reminders that we're definitely not in normal times. But I thought our administration has this greatly prepared. Hannah Bluder in the interim Dobo role, it went smoothly. I thought our players handled it. We just had an unfortunate start, which caused us to have an unfortunate outcome. But as you say, Rob, we're young, we're growing, and there was a lot of positives.
Yeah, and we chatted after the Iowa State game, which were a ton of positives there, especially in that second half. So all in all, just kind of your assessment where this team is with, finals week this week, start practicing, get ready for Ohio State. So you can take a little bit of a deep breath, at least as far as games are concerned.
Right, yeah. And, it's always more fun to take that deep breath when you get the win before finals, right? But, as we said, that Michigan State, there was a lot of great things. I think what you're seeing really from quarter to quarter is just a lot of youth. We're led by a very fantastic freshman point guard, but she's still young. There are decisions sometimes she makes that a lot of times they're great, but the youth sometimes are not as great. We have a lot of people coming off the bench that are really young. We have Monica, who's been there, but she has only been there 1 year, really. Last year was a breakout year for her. Alexi Civilian is in a different role due to her ankle-foot injury. So you have to be really patient. And I think our staff is being patient. Good thing we highlight our hair. We get a little gray hairs with these young teams. But it's also really fun because it's unpredictable. It's not as easy sometimes. But it really keeps you hopping as a coach to try and mesh everything together. I think after, this 4 or 5 games here, what is it, 4 games we played? I lose track.
Five, yeah.
5, yeah. I think their effort, I think their willingness to really try to figure out what their role is and try to make those changes, we couldn't be happier with that. I think sometimes we wish it'd go a little quicker. It's going to take a while to mesh everyone together, but I think they're willing to do that. Certainly the times when we're rolling, boy, doesn't it give us all a lot of exciting hope for what's not only to come this particular year, but, looking down into the future. You always worry now about finals week because you're kind of rolling and you really like to, after you lose a disappointing game, right, you want to get right back on the saddle. But now we took a couple days off back to back and now they need to be focused on the books, but it's sometimes hard to get them back reined in. And what I mean reined in is this, they're staying up late studying, they're tired, and then getting a young team focused and locked in again for another road game at a really difficult place to play in Ohio State. So we'll have our work cut out for us as coaches this week, getting them back and ready to go. And then certainly I'd feel better taking on Ohio State at home after finals.
Yeah, always.
That doesn't mean that I think we can go there and win. It's just after you're tired, then traveling again, and then coming back for one more home game here. So that's kind of what our focus will be. And I'm excited to get with them a little bit tomorrow because we haven't seen them really since Saturday.
When you kind of go back to these last 2 games, where the second halves, the finishes, this team will play the entire 40 and more if necessary. And that's a good trait to have. Obviously, you want better starts, and I'm sure that'll come. But hey, there's no 50% or 60% effort at any particular time. It is full go, and we're going to play this out to the end. Almost got Michigan State at the end last Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, if we had, you go back and watch the film, and just like in Iowa State, we needed the right shot to go win. We needed the right stop at the right time, and we got it. It all happened. At Michigan State, we just needed one thing at a particular time in that last 2.5 minutes, and we missed the layup. We got a great rebound, and then we got it knocked out of our hands. So just a couple of breaks that went our way last week, they didn't quite go our way this week. But you're right, Rob. It's 40 minutes that they give it to us, and they're trying and they're learning. We just have to figure out our starts. We need to shore up our transition defense. That really hurt us at Michigan State. They hit shots. Obviously, they were hot. We can say that, certainly. But we allowed them to be hot. We messed up some of our transition. As we run transition, sometimes you're not always matched up on your players. And that is a really hard concept typically for high school kids. Because a lot of times in high school, if you're guard number 10, then doggone it, you're guard number 10, and we're going to guard number 10 all the way to the bench at the timeout. But how we run the transition, you can't always get matched up. And if you blow an assignment, boy, you're giving up a wide open three real quick. So we need to shore up our transition defense, and I'm excited that we can work on that for this week. And then we just have to, I think we have to work the ball a little bit more before we shoot. And it's fun. We're offensive minded and we like to go. But we need to, I think, refine ourselves definitely in passing up good for great. And that, too, is a sign of youth, because we have a lot of kids in high school that always had the green light, green light, green light. And then it's sometimes hard to know, should I take it, should I not? So those are two big things that we'll be focusing on, both offense and defensively this week.
Well, of course, Caitlin Clark, number 2 in the country in scoring at 29.8. Monica Sonano is certainly going to get her points. Do you think that third, fourth scores, that could be different game in and game out? Yeah, I do. And I think it should be and probably needs to be. We'd like to, Caitlin's just doing so many great things. There'll be times to maybe get a few more shots for McKenna Warnock. We need to get her some shots. Gabby Marshall, I think she's shooting about 50% from the field, just hasn't taken as many shots. So as we get to know each other a little bit more, get a little bit more patient, I think at any given game, it's in my opinion, it's going to be who our opponent decides to help off of to stop either Monica or stop either Caitlin at this point. So you can do that by sagging on Gabby. You're going to really shade and you're going to help, stop Caitlin's penetration, or maybe try to slow her down coming off a ball screen. Or you can take your power forward and do that on Caitlin or do that on Monica. Therefore, you'll free one of those positions up. And I think that a lot of teams are sagging off of Kate Martin right now, or are showing that. But we're so good at the power forward and the off guard that they can't help much. And Kate has the ability to really score, that I think that they're going to have to start showing and giving a little more help with either one of those two positions. So depending on what poison they want to pick on the help, I think you'll see either Gabby Marshall or hopefully McKenna will be taking a few more shots. All capable, no doubt about that. 3 other games in the Big Ten tonight. One final. Number 14, Maryland, has won at Rutgers 91-87. So another high-scoring game in the Big Ten.
And that's Nebraska, a lot of points for Rutgers.
Yes, that is a ton of them, isn't it?
Rutgers is, on their defense. So I'll have to watch the film, but none of that makes me real happy. We're never.
That's usually
really,
in the 60s.
You're not really big fans of anyone in the Big Ten, right? Because you got to beat them all. But certainly we have an affinity for Coach Stringer, so you wouldn't mind if they'd knock off Maryland. But I don't like to see Rutgers scoring that many, and I don't really like to see Maryland. They must be an offensive juggernaut if they're attacking Rutgers is known for their defense. So that's quite a score, really, and quite a story for those who follow women's basketball. So I will be very anxious to get my view of that film.
Yeah, that's a lot of points for Rutgers for sure. Nebraska is at Creighton, and Minnesota at Northwestern a little bit later on tonight. Hawkeye basketball is proudly sponsored by Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Iowa's hometown health insurer for over 80 years. Wellmark reminds Hawkeye fans to stay healthy and stay in the game by wearing a mask, washing your hands, and getting a flu shot. Hawkeye basketball also brought to you by Dodge Street Tire and Auto, locally owned and operated, has been voted the best of the area for the 10th consecutive year and is a proud supporter of Iowa women's basketball. Visit us for all of your automotive needs, including the best deals on Goodyear and Toyo tires. Dodge Street Tire and Auto, celebrating over 25 good years in Iowa City. And we'll be back with more Hawk Talk after the break. This is Hawk Talk from Learfield IMG College.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Whether it's a commercial, residential, healthcare, or industrial project, Carpenters Union Local 1260 provides a professional and productive workforce on time and on budget. And Union Carpenters also have specialized COVID prevention training to allow for the safest environment possible. Since 1902, Carpenters Union Local 1260 has been building the University of Iowa, and that relationship continues today as a proud partner of Hawkeye Athletics. To find a union contractor and union carpenters for your next job, visit carpentersunionlocal1260.com or call 319-338-1638.
Primary care providers should be able to look at patients, read between the lines, and know something's not right. Hi, I'm Dr. Denise Martinez at University of Iowa Healthcare. 80% of conditions can be treated by a family medicine doctor, so our comprehensive and caring approach is key. And if it turns out to be serious or out of our scope, we'll connect you to the right specialists right away. With experts all across the region, find one near you at uihc.org.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. Gary Dolphin here for UPS. Your customers want more from your business. You've got to make more happen, whether they're in Coralville or on the other side of the world. Globally or locally, UPS is building solutions to help businesses give their customers exactly what they want. More made easy. UPS, the official logistics company of Iowa Athletics.
Are you looking to downsize from your family home to begin your retirement years? Our Oak Knoll East campus is for you. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director at Oak Knoll. Our new campus has many unique amenities for your active lifestyle, in addition to providing the same great services that Oak Knoll has offered our residents for over 50 years. We're now open and have a few 2-bedroom apartments still available. Call me at 319-351-1720 or visit oakknoll.com to set up your personal tour. Go Hawks!
Here in Iowa, corn is more than our livelihood. It's our way of life. We use it to feed our livestock, helping us raise healthy pigs, cows, and chickens. We use it to make ethanol, helping us power a prosperous, clean-burning future. We use it to nourish our families, helping us stay strong generation to generation. And the more we use it, the more it boosts our economy, helping elevate the lives of all Iowans. You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk. Jan Jensen stepping in for Lisa Bluder here for the second part of the show. Great to see Jan once again, and you can watch us all season long on youtube.com/Hawkeye Radio Network. You go in and do that. You can leave a question in the chat room or also on social media using hashtag Hawk Talk, and you're always welcome to pick up the phone and give us a call at 1-877-464-2957. Hawkeye Basketball is brought to you by Bud Light. Whenever there is a Hawkeye game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Jan, you mentioned hadn't been on an airplane for a while, which you're exactly right. For you, that's saying something. And And I've seen a little bit on social media with you about the new recruiting in COVID times where, well, you're usually off in a gym somewhere, sometimes probably 2 in one night, but that aspect of your job has certainly changed, hasn't it?
It has. And it's, I think for us long-timers, I like to say long-timer, not old-timer.
I like it.
Us long-timers recruiting, I will be very honest that I have very much enjoyed not coming back at 1:30 in the morning from a 4-hour trip into Chicago and back. And that has been nice. I think my body appreciates it. But I do miss the live action. The film is nice. The live streams are nice. I think they're nicer if you're watching your daughter or your son or your grandparent. You're watching it. But to really get an evaluation in, that's difficult. But it is a great tool for the times that we're in. I think it can definitely, what's great are the kids you've already know you love, right? That's why it's great. Like a lot of times, all of us coaches across the country, we're flying into Ohio, we're flying to, DC or wherever we are watching a kid, and we've already offered them. But you have to be there because that's part of the game. So I think that's what I appreciate is the nights when I know I would be somewhere watching someone that I really don't need to see in the sense of having to make a decision. So there's probably only a handful of those. But I would like to see some of our kids play live, and I'd like to support them. That's probably one of my favorite parts of the jobs is being able to see those kids in their high school settings, and then when you get them, to watch them grow. But that's been different. But I try to be efficient. I'll bring a couple different laptops and try to at least view a couple different games if I can do it. And then sometimes it's nice, like you can cover if there's a 6:15 start time and then I got an 8 o'clock start time. Boy, I'm seeing a lot more games than I would normally. So for the most part, I think it's going okay. I don't think any coach can make as good of decisions. Like we tend to go slower anyway with our recruiting. We try to recruit a small amount, get to really know them, watch them a lot. So throwing out a lot of early offers after live streaming all last July, and then watching them again live stream through the season. We're trying to be real efficient to put our eyes on a lot of people. But this spring and summer, if the vaccine can get us where we need to be, is going to be really, really important for us to see if what we've been seeing on the fuzzy screens and the scroll or the buffering system and being patient with that to see if hopefully we're somewhere close to our evaluations and then forthcoming offers.
And you can watch as many games as humanly possible,
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's for 1 year, I think every coaching staff will tell you we can do it. I always try to tend to look at the positive. So the positive for me is I get to see my kids most nights now. I not have to travel unless we're traveling with our team. So that's been a positive. And I'm tired enough anyway. Every coach is. You're still late at the office watching film and so forth. So just having not that recruiting pressure travel, I've just tried to look at it as a positive and not be so negative. Oh gosh, we're missing out and so forth. The only thing I think is hard is if people are antsy to make decisions, and they could default to a perceived name. Let's say it's men's basketball, and a young man is being recruited by Duke and Carolina, and he's from Utah, and he's also being recruited by, let's say, Utah, and you got these other blue bloods, right? Does he default to a big name because of what he sees in his mind and then wants to make a decision even though he didn't visit campus? That's my only concern. I just hope people will hold and let the dust settle if you can, if you're a younger kid. Obviously, if you're a 21 grad, you're squeezed.
Yeah, because that's hard for those 2021 players as well, because they can't visit campuses. And so that's a lot different than they were going to perceive it to be.
Yeah, and so that's why I think all of us are trying to be real creative with Zooms, right? Your Zoom meetings and your campus tours. You've got your iPad, the Zooming, trying to give some of it sharing your screen and already a canned tour, but trying to make it live, because if you're lucky enough and they've already visited your campus, you're a leg up. But if you don't have them to visit campus and they needed to make a decision, boy, it's pretty tough for them to do so without being on campus. So in my opinion, the only really downside is a kid could default only, in which it's not a default. It would make sense either.
Hey, Jen, hold that thought. We'll take our last break here. Yep, we'll take our last break and then be back to wrap things up. Stay with us. More Hawk Talk coming up.
Champions share common traits: integrity, reliability, hard work, and innovation. Your Better Business Bureau knows championship companies. We conduct background checks and listen to consumers around Iowa and Illinois, so we know the true character of these companies. Let the BBB match you with a championship company when you're hiring a contractor, using a business, or need a service. The Better Business Bureau is an Iowa nonprofit serving our neighbors for over 80 years. BBB help and information is free. So find us at bbb.org/Iowa.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
College basketball is back on Sirius XM. On Big Ten Radio, there's live coverage for every college basketball team in the conference, including live games, plus 24/7 talk and analysis. So cheer along online or on the Sirius XM app and listen to your favorite team anywhere. And now, as a college student, you can stream your first 3 months of Sirius XM for $1. Fees and taxes apply. See other details and subscribe now at SiriusXM.com/Big Ten Basketball.
Fans, if you want to give your taste buds the thrill of a dramatic, fun-filled victory, try Blue Bunny Loaded Sundaes. With a roster of all-star flavors, Loaded Sundaes have tons of toppings, swirled in deliciously soft ice cream. Even better, they come straight from the freezer, so you can grab one and get right back to the game. The next time you're in the freezer aisle, let your fun side act as head coach. Get Blue Bunny Loaded Sundaes, available now at your local grocery store.
Experience the benefit of Blue with a Medicare supplement plan from Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield. With our plans, you'll enjoy nationwide access to care, optional dental, vision, and hearing coverage, and more. Call 1-888-616-8927 or go online to wellmark.com/Medicare plans. You may even qualify for a special household discount. This is the benefit of Blue. Wellmark Blue dental product available to Iowa residents only. Must reside in the service area of the plan. Wellmark Medicare supplement insurance plans are not connected with or endorsed by any government agency.
Like any winning team, it takes every part of EMC insurance companies working together to successfully ensure that our agents, policyholders, and employees can count on EMC. And they do. They count on our broad range of insurance products and services. They count on our superior level of personalized service, and they trust that we will continue to be a financially stable partner, just like we have been for more than 100 years. All of this makes EMC one of the nation's premier insurance companies, and that's something you can always count on.
Thanks so much for joining us on Hawk Talk tonight with Coach Lisa Bluder and Jan Jensen, Iowa and Ohio State this Saturday. And we'll be back here with Hawk Talk on Monday. Appreciate everybody watching and listening, and we'll talk to you Saturday morning, Iowa at Ohio State. Good night.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Lear Learfield IMG College. This has been Hawk Talk with Lisa Bluder. Brought to you by Oak Knoll, an active life care community. Also brought to you by Bud Light. Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Hy-Vee. Save time and shop online with Hy-Vee Aisles Online. Go to HyVeeAislesOnline.com. Governor's Traffic and Safety Bureau by the Iowa Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau, who reminds you to click it or ticket day or night. And by U.S. Bank, helping individuals and businesses work toward their financial goals. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation of the Hawkeye Sports Network. On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, this is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery, presented by 1201 Kitchen and Tap in Coralville, featuring an extensive menu of steak, seafood, and sandwiches, along with a full bar and wine selections. Also brought to you in part by Bud Light. Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Hy-Vee. Save time and shop online with Hy-Vee Aisles Online. Go to HyVeeAislesOnline.com. U.S. Bank, helping individuals and businesses work toward their financial goals. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S. Cellular. U.S. Cellular is proud to support Hawkeye Athletics. U.S. Cellular. Choose fair. Now, here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
As the temperature drops outside, the heat rises on Big Ten basketball. Indeed it does. The gauntlet of 20 straight conference games starts next week for the Iowa Hawkeyes. The final non-conference game, oh, by the way, comes up against number 1 Gonzaga Saturday morning up in Sioux Falls at the Pentagon. And judging by what we witnessed last week, Coach Fran McCaffery and the Hawkeyes are ready to rock and roll into the new year. Good evening, everybody. I'm Gary Dolphin, joined by my broadcast partner, Bobby Hansen, and the head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes, Fran McCaffery, will be joining us in just a few minutes. Fran picked up career win number 450 against the Iowa State Cyclones on Friday night and win number 200 at Iowa yesterday. For the second time in 3 weeks, Luka Garza is the Big Ten basketball player of the week. Iowa's All-American averaged 24 points and 8 rebounds, plus a couple blocks in victories over North Carolina, Iowa State, and yesterday's victim, Northern Illinois. Garza converted 73% of his three-point attempts, 8 of 11, shot 61% from the field overall. But, Bobby, as we know, he is so much more than just scoring the basketball. He's such a floor leader. He's a rebounder. He can block shots, evidence the numbers we just gave you, and he can screen with that 6'11", 265-pound body.
Well, he can do it all, Gary. He's a basketball player, and he's gotten better and better each year that he's been here, and he's gotten better because of the hard work that he's put in, evidenced by the 5 3-pointers in the second half against Iowa State, 4 in a row, and then a couple of twos, and then he finished them off with another one. But that's because of hard work, and just very, very proud of him, happy for him, wonderful young man, and that's what just a good lesson for all the young players out there. You put the time in, you're going to have the success.
What impressed you the most about 3 victories? 2 of the 3, obviously, quality competition from major Power 5 conferences. Northern Illinois has struggled out of the gate, but Coach Montgomery feels he's going to have a good team by the end of the year. What'd you like most about last week?
North Carolina game, I think number 1, we can take them in order, Gary, and just the contribution you got from the shooters on the outside. North Carolina really packed it in. They didn't double Luka per se, but they were all 5 guys had a hand or got a foot in the lane, and were really paying attention to where Luka was. Luka gave the ball up. The Hawkeyes moved it around, and the shooters made shots. When you can shoot like that, you can play like that, the Hawks can go a long way, and everybody feels good to get into the flow of the game. So that was a huge victory right there. And then come back against Iowa State, faced a little adversity, and then Luka took over there in the second half. That was like, to me, there's your National Player of the Year right there. That is a skill set when that 7-footer can knock down threes. And then come back, you double up Northern Illinois, and they tried to slow it down early, but the Hawks got it going. And again, really good passing, back cutting, I think, in that one. So everybody got going.
So here the Hawks sit at 6-0, ready to, a week's worth of preparation, of course, before taking on Gonzaga Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock for the pregame show here with Bobby and yours truly on the Hawkeye Radio Network. This is finals week. COVID has been disruptive enough, and now they've got to real buckle down, not that they haven't been before, and polish up the academics here for the first semester and work in practice and workouts wherever they can. We'll get the update from Fran on that in just a minute. Our presenting sponsor tonight and each week for Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery is 1201 Kitchen and Tap, where the focus is simple: to deliver outstanding service, quality products, and consistency, along with a great menu selection. We can attest to that. Guests to the Coralville restaurant experience the best of Midwest American cuisine, domestic and Iowa craft beers, and specialty drinks. Visit 1201 Kitchen and Tap, just across Interstate 80. Off of First Avenue in Coralville. Let's welcome in head coach Fran McCaffery. Fran, you heard some of our comments. A great week for Hawkeye basketball last week. Certainly some things to work on, I'm sure, in your view, but give us your overall assessment of the 3-0 week.
I think, guys, most importantly, our approach was really professional. You're playing a challenge, the ACC Big Ten Challenge. You're playing Carolina, and you know what they bring to the table. You can look at the numbers and say, okay, plus 18 on the glass. That's the first thing you see. Well, if you don't rebound, you can't beat that team. And that's a collective effort. That's making sure your guards get in there and mix it up. You put a body on somebody every time. Because if you're working hard defensively, get them to miss, and then let them put it back in, doesn't do you any good. And then you can't get your break going to get their defense back. So we were able to run, and you guys were talking about they were really trying to crowd Luka. All right, so if you're crowding Luka, somebody's open. But it's a team that's really quick. They've got size. They're going to recover. They're going to scramble. So if they're running at you, shot fake, sidestep, dribble. If they're running at you, shot fake, drive, move it. So there's a reason why we made 17 threes. It was good decisions on when to shoot, when not to shoot, when to drive and kick, when to make one extra pass, when to go in and Luka go score, when to go in and out and move it. So from that standpoint, excellent execution of the game plan. Iowa State, different kind of game. They came out as you would have expected them to. Really competed. I thought Steve had them ready. They were aggressive. And then, we settled down and we pulled away towards the end of the first half. I think the way we came out the start of the second half was critical. We got it up to like 18-19. They make one more run. And then, Luka catches fire. But so many really good performances in that game. And again, it's off the bench. When we go to our bench, we don't lose anything. You think, C.J. Frederick, Joe Wieskamp, Luka Garza, Jordan Bohannon, offensively, and Connor feeding them all. And that's our starting five. You look at what Jack Nunge did against Iowa State. That was just nothing short of, spectacular what he did. And I was thrilled for him, and then you look on Sunday, you look at what Patrick and what Keegan did with Joe Toussaint, Tony Perkins, Aaron Eulis, able to get those guys minutes and able to let them develop confidence and really establish the fact that we have an incredibly deep roster.
Coach, my question goes back to the North Carolina game where the plus 18 as North Carolina is. You knew that was key. As you mentioned, first couple times down the floor, I don't think I've ever seen you guys block out like that good. The ball actually bounced into the lane, I think the first or the second missed shot by Carolina, and you guys just picked it up and went. Right there, I went, all right, these guys have got it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that was textbook defense, especially when you consider how you have to play against that team. Connors guarding Brooks, 6'10", 255, preseason ACC Player of the Year, long, giving up a lot of size, but we didn't give up anything to him. And then when Jack came in, he was great. When Keegan came in, when Patrick came in, those guys were terrific. And that is the critical thing. I think you noticed it, Bobby, right away. But you know who else notices it? The team you're playing against. They notice it. Like, okay, these guys are for real. We're not going to get these easy second shot opportunities. They're going to be physical with us. And they're going to then turn around and run, and then we've got to go put our defense together. Which, quite honestly, there was a stretch in that game where we didn't put our defense together. Because, you guys know, Roy Williams teams, they're going to run it back at you now. They're going to have it on top of you as quickly as any team that you'll face. It's been like that since he was at Kansas and at North Carolina, so he's been doing it for 30 years. And they push the basketball. They've got quick guards. You got Love, you got Davis. So there was a stretch there where we weren't really putting it together, and we got that part of it figured out. So it's blocking out and transition defense if you want to beat North Carolina.
Fran, your defense has been solid on balance. You got 26 points off turnovers against the Cyclones and 20 points yesterday off Northern Illinois. It's one thing to take the ball away, but when you're turning those miscues into points, what an advantage for you.
Well, our press the last two games, and we talked about it last week, our press up to that point was average at best, to be honest with you. It was change defenses, maybe get them to go side to side a little bit, maybe use a little bit of clock. We weren't getting anything out. We weren't getting any traps. We weren't getting a lot of deflections, except for Patrick in the first game. So that was something we felt like had to improve. And it really did. Really changed the complexion of the Iowa State game. And then yesterday when they came in, they were running clock. They were trying to shorten the game. We went after them with that press, created offense with our defense, as you pointed out, and then all of a sudden you look and you're up 20 plus. Well, now you can't hold the ball. Well, you can try, but you're already down 20, so it doesn't do you any good.
And Coach, I know something that pleases you as well is that low number of turnovers in the last three games. 11 against North Carolina, but the last two have been 7 and 8, and I think it's the nation's leading assist-to-turnover team once again.
Yeah, you're right, Bobby. And you know the game. That just equates to winning. When you're that unselfish, and you look at the multiple guys that we have with 3-to-1 or better assist turnover ratios, and everybody's in a positive range. This is not a team of mistake makers, and you can't win basketball games making mistakes. You just can't. You can't turn it over. Let them create offense with their defense. Give them easy baskets. Let them gain confidence and momentum. You've got to keep them guessing, and you've got to be able to come down and execute your offense, get a good shot. Hopefully it goes in. We have good shooters. We've been shooting a pretty good percentage. But if you don't, you have opportunities now to get your defense back and not let them score. If you're coughing it up, especially live ball turnovers in the open floor, teams like Carolina, Iowa State, they're going to make you pay.
Fran, your bench, you've talked about the depth of this roster, and you had 48 points against Northern Illinois out of your bench yesterday, 36 against Iowa State, outscored the Cyclone bench by 20. Man, that is such an added asset that will help you over 27 games, I guess, this year. But it's one thing to give the starters a break, but when the bench players, and no matter what combinations you've been using, they've all been productive. You got to be pleased about that.
Very pleased. And you know what else I think I'm pleased about, Dolph, is the reaction of the guys on the bench to the guys on the floor, regardless of who it is. If the starters are out and the second group is killing it, they're going crazy. And vice versa. The starters are killing it, the bench is into the game. We have some flexibility and versatility coming off the bench. I really thought last year's team had that. Then, Jordan shuts it down. Patrick shuts it down. Jack Nungy blows his knee out in the 5th game. Now you got a short bench. I mean, Cordell was good. Mm-hmm. Kriener was great. Thankfully, we had Bakari Evelyn, and we were able to put Joe T in the starting lineup. And then we had Riley Till and Austin Ash ready to go. But now you look at Patrick, Keegan, Joe Toussaint, Jack Nungy, Aaron Eulis coming off the bench with Tony Perkins, Chris Murray. I mean, Austin Ash is killing it. You're just not losing anything, which is scary to say. But when you take the National Player of the Year out of the game, and Jack Nungy comes in and gets 15 points in the first half, that tells you a lot about our team.
Sure does. Very emblematic of what's to come, too. On that note, before we take our first break tonight, this is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery, and you're more than welcome. Bobby and I don't want to hog all the questioning line here. You can reach us on Facebook with your comment or your question for Coach McCaffery at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. That's one word. YouTube chat room. You can jump on Hawkeye Radio Network in the YouTube chat room and ask a question. And Fran on Twitter, at Gary Dolphin. Mark says, Fran, Tony Perkins seemed more comfortable in the Northern Illinois game. Can you talk about his play, also about Chris Murray and Josh Shagundale, and what do you expect out of them this year?
Tony Perkins is a terrific player. I mean, he had 7 rebounds in 4 minutes yesterday. He took it to the hole. He's fearless. I love that kid. He's going to be a great Hawk. Josh, he's coming. He's coming. He had a rough go at the start. He needs to get in better shape. He was unable to do that because of the circumstances upon his arrival. But he's paying attention. He's learning. He's getting better. Chris is going to be terrific. You see what Keegan's doing. You say, well, if Keegan's doing that, Chris isn't far behind. He's not. They do a lot of the same things. Their games are a little bit different. It just gives you a lot of confidence moving forward with that group.
Looking forward to the next 90 minutes with Coach McCaffery, the next hour for Fran at least, and we invite you to check in with us here on the Hawkeye Hotline. You can also dial in a toll-free number to Learfield and leave your question or comment for Coach at 877-464-2957, 877-464-2957. That is, of course, courtesy of our friends at U.S. Cellular, proud to be the official wireless sponsor of Iowa Hawkeye basketball. U.S. Cellular, connecting Hawkeye Nation. What a week last week was. What a week this week's going to be. The Hawkeyes in Gonzaga. Iowa-Michigan football Saturday night. The Hawkeye women are playing outstanding. We mentioned Luka Garza, the Big Ten Player of the Week. Caitlin Clark is the Big Ten Player of the Week, too. That young freshman from Des Moines. What a week she had and what a career she's headed to here at the University of Iowa. We'll step out and take our first break on Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery and come back with us shortly.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
It all started with a grilled cheese sandwich. 2 simple pieces of bread, some butter, and a slice of American cheese. But after making it day after day, week after week, I hungered for more. Colby, provolone, Gouda. But Gouda wasn't good enough. I wanted great. I added tomatoes, pickles, jalapenos. If I could birth this gooey work of art in my tiny, modest kitchen, imagine what I could do in a gourmet chef's kitchen. So I called U.S. Bank about loaning me some extra cheddar. Now I had the mad cheese skill and a superior grill. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
When the world began to change and wearing face covers was recommended for men, women, and children, Authentic Brand responded, transforming our production to much-needed quality masks and delivering on the demands of millions. This is the spirit of Authentic Brand, excelling in the areas that others cannot or will not. You feel the difference in every piece of Authentic Brand gear that you buy, giving you the authentic spirit to take the world in your own way, at work, at the game, or relaxing at home. Be authentically safe and comfortable in Authentic Brand. Visit us online at authentic-brand.com.
Here in Iowa, corn is more than our livelihood. It's our way of life. We use it to feed our livestock, helping us raise healthy pigs, cows, and chickens. We use it to make ethanol, helping us power a prosperous, clean-burning future. We use it to nourish our families, helping us stay strong generation to generation. And the more we use it, the more it boosts our economy, helping elevate the lives of all Iowans. You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
Fans, if you want to give your taste buds the thrill of a dramatic, fun-filled victory, try Blue Bunny Loaded Sundaes. With a roster of all-star flavors, Loaded Sundaes have tons of toppings, swirled in deliciously soft ice cream. Even better, they come straight from the freezer, so you can grab one and get right back to the game. The next time you're in the freezer aisle, let your fun side act as head coach. Get Blue Bunny Loaded Sundaes, available now at your local grocery store.
Hawkeye basketball with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. It's called Hawk Talk. You're welcome to join us here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We're here every Monday night throughout the basketball season. Week 2 of our chat with Fran, and the Hawks are on a roll at 6-0 and headed to Sioux Falls in the Pentagon this weekend. 11 o'clock Saturday morning tip-off for Iowa and top-ranked Gonzaga. Gonzaga 3-0. They had to halt their basketball activities a week and a half ago due to COVID issues. Part of it had to do with Baylor canceling its game down in Indianapolis at the Jimmy V Classic. But they have defeated Kansas. They've defeated 3 outstanding programs: Kansas, West Virginia, both out of the Big 12, and Auburn out of the Southeastern Conference. As we welcome Coach McCaffery back in. Fran, just an overview of Mark Few's team this year. I mean, they're seemingly outstanding every year. They've owned that league they've played in out there, but when they've traveled around the country, I was reading today, they have 9 consecutive wins against Big 12 opponents. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, you have to be impressed with how Mark has built that program. For a while, they were referred to as a mid-major program, and they were not. And they were not because of how Mark built it. And it began with a philosophy of, we'll go play anybody, anytime, anywhere. And that's kind of what you're referring to. So they play as difficult a schedule as anybody in the country. And the quality of players that they're attracting right now. And we saw it, 4 years ago when we played them in the tournament?
Out in Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they had Sabonis and Karnowski, and then they had Wiltshire transferred from Kentucky. I mean, they had some guys. And now you look at this team, a Jalen Suggs goes from Minnesota out to Gonzaga. I mean, that tells you where that program is. I mean, Jalen Suggs is probably, arguably, the number 1 high school player coming out last year. And he starts for him at point. They have a starter from Florida transferred who also plays. So they're getting some really quality transfers. But when you look at, Timmy, in the middle, Ayayi, these guys, They have all the pieces. They play their style, and it's very similar to ours, guys. They run. They defend, they compete, and they share it. And I think that's what's impressive. Like when I watch them, I said they push the ball, they move the ball, they share the ball, they get the ball to the guys that are open. Kispert can really shoot it. They load him up, and they spread the offense around. Everybody eats, and if they're in a close game, they seem to have the ability to make plays coming down the stretch, whether it be defensively or offensively. They have sort of a winning culture, and that's why they're ranked number one. So for us, it's a tremendous opportunity for our team, who has played really well, to go up to Sioux Falls and play in a great facility and have an opportunity to play on CBS and get after it.
Fran, the kid Suggs, I'm really impressed with. Didn't know much about him other than reading, recruiting reports. But the 3 games I've watched him play, it's like he's their best player. And I know he's a kid that I believe Iowa football offered a quarterback scholarship to. But tough kid. And you got any update on him? I thought his season was over. He twisted that ankle really bad, but came back and played outstanding in the next 30 minutes, I think.
Yeah, he's fine. We recruited him hard. I've been in his home. He's been on campus multiple times. Really nice kid. To be honest with you, he's one of those guys, when I look at him, if the rule didn't require you to go, he'd go right to the league. I mean, that's what I thought. Like when I evaluated that kid, he was ready for the pros coming out of high school. They put that rule in because so many guys thought they were ready for the pros coming out of high school, and they were not. He was. But, he has an opportunity to play college basketball in a great place, for a terrific coach, and, sort of build his brand in many ways, and he'll be in the league next year.
You want to talk with Coach McCaffery, you're more than welcome to give us a shout on Twitter, on Facebook, on the Hawkeye hotline at 877-464-2957. Coach, on Twitter, Tom says you've coached out in the Pentagon before, Fran. What do you like about that arena?
It's a classic arena. It's got everything you want. It's kind of got that old feel to it, even though it's a relatively newer facility. When we played there the last time, the atmosphere was electric. Mm-hmm. And it would be like that on Saturday if, fans were allowed to go. They won't. There'll be some fans there, a few family members, but that's it. So that's a shame because I think both teams would like to have played in that kind of atmosphere, the same one we played against Colorado a few years ago. I think our kids really had a lot of fun that night. And I think just remembering talking to our fans up that way, that are, huge Hawk fans that live 5 hours from our campus, the fact that we brought our team up that way and they had a chance to go to the game, and it was right before Christmas, and you saw entire Hawkeye families there all in black and gold. It was a great night. So this is an opportunity to, play in a different kind of atmosphere, but a great facility against a great team, 2 great teams, and, play for number 1, essentially.
Coach, how was this game put together? Just quickly, kind of the backstory on how you meet Gonzaga up in Sioux Falls.
Well, we were going to play Oregon State.
Oh, that's right.
That contract was signed.
That's right.
So they had to get out of the game because they had some, I wouldn't say confusion, but they had some discussion as to exactly how they were going to structure their conference schedule. Wayne Tinkle is a terrific guy. He's a good friend. And he couldn't lock in because he didn't know when they were going to schedule his league games because everybody moved their league games up. As you know, we played Purdue on the 22nd, Minnesota on the 25th of December. It was kind of the same for them because they put their whole schedule on pause. Then they came back. So it just wasn't going to work to play them. So the folks up there in Sioux Falls were like, okay, well, as long as you're willing to come, we'll find another opponent. Gonzaga jumped in and said, hey, by the way, if we play, we can get the game on CBS, which, excited everybody. The people up at the Pentagon, Paul Seville and his group. And so Gonzaga was all in, we're all in, and, we're excited about it.
As well, you should be. That'd be a great atmosphere, even without fans. But unfortunately, fans cannot get in. They made the announcement last week. There'll be no fans.
Right.
Sam, Coach, Sam says this is your first road trip of the year. How will you handle the protocols concerning COVID?
Well, it really doesn't change anything. We'll get on a plane. We'll fly up there. When we get there, we'll test. We're still doing antigen testing every day. So, but when we go up there, we made an agreement that we would both do PCR tests upon arrival. And then, we'll stay sequestered at the hotel and go play the game and come home.
JJ in North Liberty, please ask Coach if he would play a 1-3-1 zone. And regarding the press, Murray and Nunji are playing well in the middle. Thanks, Coach. Wish I was at the games. Well, so do we, JJ.
Exactly. We wish you were there too. We have played a 1-3-1 in the past. We will at some point this year. We have it in. We haven't really employed it this year, but we have I think he's right. We have a good team for that defense. I mean, it's all predicated on length, the ability to move your feet. We could put a really long athletic team out there and give some problems to some folks.
Coach, have you ever had a team with this type of length?
No. I mean, my Siena teams were built that way, but not as big as this one. We did. We were effective because we had long athletic guys. We weren't as deep, and we didn't have 2 6'11" guys either. So that changes everything. But then you look at your 6'8" small forwards, Patrick and Keegan and Chris. We can play Jack and Luka together. We can play Jack with the other guys. Connor gives you a big point guard. He gives you an undersized, strong power forward or a big wing. Wieskamp is long. CJ is long. He's not as tall, but CJ is a long guy who's about 6'4". So we have some weapons we can throw at you in terms of length that just really create problems for you trying to move the ball and get good shot opportunities.
Fran, who do you throw at Suggs? I heard that question come up on another radio station today. Defensively, at least in man, I thought right away of CJ and Joe Toussaint for starters.
Yeah, those two guys for sure. At times Jabo might have to guard him. He's big, and he's long, and he's bouncy. He also goes to the glass. I mean, Jalen Suggs is a terrific rebounder. So, you got to get somebody who's going to put a body on him. So you got to have some toughness. Jabo's got that. Joe T's got that, even though they're giving up some size. CJ's a little more the same size. So we got some ways we can go with that.
On Facebook, before we take a break with Coach McCaffery, and we're getting a lot of Facebook posts, Twitter. It's great to have you all joining us tonight. Brady says, Coach, this is the deepest and most talented Iowa team I've seen in my 45 years. Going forward with the meat of the schedule coming up, how do you determine who gets the minutes and how many people do you play? I guess what he's asking, Fran, is do you shorten that rotation? I'm sure you thought about that a lot.
Yeah, we're not going to shorten the rotation. The rotation is perfect right now. The rotation typically gets shortened, unfortunately, due to injury and foul trouble. So the key is to stay healthy, both in terms of injuring any part of your body, but then also from getting COVID. Because if somebody gets COVID, they're out 21 days, so that will also affect our depth. But again, I mean, I mentioned 10 guys, but I could go Tony and Chris and Ash. I feel really good with our depth with this team. In terms of, it's one thing to say, okay, we have bodies, but do you have bodies that complement each other? Do you have enough shooters? Do you have enough length? Do you have enough size in the post? Do you have enough ball handlers? Do you have enough intelligent guys that are veteran and can make decisions and adjust on the fly? So if there's foul trouble or injury, okay, now you got to play in this game. You got to play the 2, 3, and 4. You got to play the 1, 2, and 3. And you got to know where to go on all of our out of bounds plays, our press offenses, our late game package, all of that. That's what depth is. It's not just, okay, I have a few guys I can put in. What are they going to do when they get there? And I feel really good about this group.
And Bobby, this roster has been very complimentary to each other.
Yeah, I'm listening to Coach McCaffery there, and I'm thinking Connor's the key right there. You can move him around from really 1 to 5, and there were opportunities there where you had him bring the ball up. I can't remember the game, Iowa State or North Carolina, but kind of took a little pressure off our backcourt, but Connor able to muscle that ball up the court.
Yeah, a lot of teams will do what Iowa State does. They tried to mug Jordan, and so why fight it? Just throw it to Connor, let him bring it down. And then Jordan will run around and get open. And his assist turnover numbers have been phenomenal, Jordan. I mean, just with he and Connor out there and Joe T and CJ, and I think Joe Wieskamp's really improved in that area. Patrick's been terrific. Is a reason why we're number 1 in assist turnover ratio. Obviously, we've got multiple guys who can pass it and are willing to pass it, but we're also throwing the ball to guys who can make shots, whether it be inside or out. Jack Nungy's a terrific passer. So that is something that, I think really began to take shape last year, Bobby, when we were, we're out in Vegas and we're, recognizing we got to play back-to-back games against top 10 teams, and Jack's out, Patrick's out. J-Bo's exhausted, going one night to the next. That's when Bakari Evelyn came into his own, and that's where we first moved Connor to the 4 spot. And I didn't enter last season thinking Connor was my starting 4-man, but it really worked. It worked for this team because of who he's playing with, and they love playing with him. He loves his role. But I can play him at the point. I can play him with J-Bo, and J-Bo can be the 2. I can play him with Joe T. Connor can be the 2, or they can switch on and off. You put Patrick and Keegan in there, they can play 3-4, 4-3. It just gives you a lot of flexibility. And it's not like we said earlier, when you put these young guys in, okay, we're going to have to live with a couple of their mistakes, but we got to get them some minutes. They're not making mistakes. And I think that's what has everybody really pleased with this group. They're just not making mistakes.
And it's shown in the proofs in the pudding and in the performance that we're watching Iowa basketball here in the first couple weeks of the season. Back with Fran, more comments and questions for Coach McCaffery in just a minute. Bobby and I are geared up for Iowa's next game and for the Hawk Talk program tonight with our Authentic brand apparel. It's a great Iowa company making Hawkeye apparel for men, women, and kids. It's the apparel that we wear on game days. Find Authentic brand at local retailers or order online at authentic-brand.com. Authentic brand. Look authentic. Feel authentic. Be authentic. Back with more of your questions and comments for Coach in just a minute.
Is your vehicle worn out from well winter? Before spring arrives, get a free vehicle inspection from my dad, Brian Sekafetz, and his staff at Dodge Street Tire and Auto. For over 25 good years, they've been your family-friendly, dependable, and honest neighborhood auto repair shop. That's why their loyal customers have once again voted Dodge Street Tire as the best in the area. Don't be left out in the cold. Dodge Street Tire and Auto at the corner of Dodge and Church Street.
Insurance companies are in business to make money. Their stockholders insist on it. But a mutual insurance company does not answer to stockholders because it's actually owned by the policyholders. This makes it much easier for a mutual insurance company to step up and do the right thing. Something worth considering as you try to decide what kind of insurance company to trust with the future of your business. West Bend Mutual Insurance. The worst brings out our best. Visit thesilverlining.com to find out more.
Are you you looking to downsize from your family home to begin your retirement years? Our Oak Knoll East campus is for you. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director at Oak Knoll. Our new campus has many unique amenities for your active lifestyle, in addition to providing the same great services that Oak Knoll has offered our residents for over 50 years. We're now open and have a few two-bedroom apartments still available. Call me at 319-351-1720 or visit oakknoll.com to set up your personal tour. Go Hawks!
Get ready for more. Introducing Hy-Vee Plus. Get a Hy-Vee Plus premium membership for just $99 a year and get fuel savings every time you shop in-store and online. Plus, exclusive deals and offers every month. Plus, you can call our Redline hotline, day or night, for anything you need. Plus, free online delivery and free express pickup. Plus, a personal online shopper. With Hy-Vee Plus, our plus equals more. Sign up today. Some restrictions apply.
Fans, if you want to give your taste buds the thrill of a dramatic, fun-filled victory, try Blue Bunny Loaded Sundaes. With a roster of all-star flavors, Loaded Sundaes have tons of toppings, swirled in deliciously soft ice cream. Even better, they come straight from the freezer, so you can grab one and get right back to the game. The next time you're in the freezer aisle, let your fun side act as head coach. Get Blue Bunny Loaded Sundaes, available now at your local grocery store.
Feel the power. Feel the speed. Feel extreme. Hawk fans, get extreme. Powered by MediaCom. And experience streaming so real you can feel it. Whether you're live streaming the game or streaming your favorite series with supercharged speeds up to 1 gig and powerful whole home Wi-Fi, you're in it. Our 100% gigabit technology network was built to take you further. Get ready to feel it. Extreme. Powered by MediaCom.
We're back on Hawk Talk here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Thanks for joining us tonight. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody. The Hawkeyes head to Sioux Falls this weekend to take on top-ranked Gonzaga. I was thinking today, have we ever had two top 5 ranked teams squaring off against each other, at least one of those being the Iowa Hawkeyes? We've had 2 that I could find. Number 1 Iowa versus number 3 Indiana, January 22nd, 1987. Tom Davis, top-ranked team, if you remember, got out to an 18-0 start that year with Roy Marble, B.J. Armstrong, Kevin Gamble, Eddie Horton, Gary Wright, and the Hawks won that game 101-88. That's about what I was averaging right now,
Sounds
Bobby.
good.
And the other one I could find, Fran will be interested, number 1 San Francisco against number 4 Iowa in the championship game of the Final Four in the 1956 tournament over at Northwestern. Bill Russell had 26 points and 27 rebounds. Casey Jones was on that team. What a fabulous team. And they beat that great Bucky O'Connor, the Fab Five, with Bill Logan and Bill Schoof and Bill Seaberg and Sharm Sherman. Iowa was 13-1 and won the Big Ten championship that year. So those are 2 great Iowa basketball memories from 1987 and 1956. Fran, I'm guessing, let's see, you'd have been at Notre Dame in 87, weren't you?
No, I was coaching. I was the head coach at Lehigh in '87.
Okay, but I know you've talked fondly often about BJ and Marble and that team that Tom Davis.
Well, I coached not against that team, if you remember, but in '85, I brought my Lehigh team out here.
That's right.
BJ was on that team, and Brad Lowhouse. So it was a couple of the same guys. Mm-hmm. Roy Marble was on that team. So we played them that year, and that was shortly after Carver opened. So they opened in '83, and in those days, teams like Lehigh were looking for opportunities to travel, play the great teams in the great arenas, expose our kids to that level, because you stayed a little more regionally in those days. We played in the East Coast Conference, so we pretty much bust all of our games. But we had an opportunity to play in a great environment in a tournament. Our kids used to really look forward to it. Jerry Strom was the guy, and that's when I first met Jerry. He reached out, and they invited us, and we were thrilled to get here. They used to have the, as you guys remember, the big coaching clinic. There's 12 or 1,300 Iowa high school coaches that would come, and I remember I had to do a presentation, and how much fun that was. I had never done anything like that before, and just have the opportunity to speak before that many coaches and just kind of meet coaches and X and O and kind of talk about the game. I was getting started in my career. Really a lot of fun. So, I remember that team well, and I remember what they became, a team that was really, really hard to beat. They had so many weapons. They had a great culture. They had a great winning attitude. A lot of the qualities that we've sort of referenced so far tonight. There was a competitiveness. There was an unselfishness. There was a tremendous amount of pride in putting that jersey on. And I think the fan base really, really responded to that team because they played the game the right way.
Who was the great shooting guard you had on that Lehigh? Was it the Lehigh team?
Yeah. We had two great players. Okay, we had a great point guard by the name of Michael Palaha, but the kid that had the big game out here was Darren Queenan.
That's right.
He scored 29 against the Hawks, and I referenced that at my press conference. How impressed I was because we lost that game. But he was tremendous. And the Hawkeye fans gave him a standing ovation when I took him out at the end to recognize, hey, we had no idea who this guy was. Half the building, maybe three-quarters of the building, never heard of Lehigh. And they just, you know what? This dude can play. And that's why I said, it meant a lot to me that a sophisticated fan base would recognize some sophomore from Lehigh and say, you know what, I'm going to stand up and clap for this kid because he just got 29 points against us, and he's special.
And 25 years later, Fran McCaffery's the head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
I love it. Yeah, just his 200th of career victory there, just a few behind.
I guess 20 years. I don't want to age you too quick. 20
no,
years.
Be too much. But it seems like a minute ago I was coming to the press conference. I mean, I was walking up the tunnel, because it didn't even occur to me that it was 200 wins at Iowa, and they had it up on the jumbotron, and they talked about it. Jess Settles interviewed me after the game. It was great to have Jess be the guy to do that. And I'm walking up the tunnel. I said, I just can't believe 11 years have gone by that fast because it's been so much fun on so many different levels for me because, you think of the great players, I got to coach Roy's son, Devin Marble and Mel Sambasabi and Tyler Cook and Luka Garza and Joe Wieskamp. You just can't. My own two sons, who were just little bitty guys shooting around on the side when I first got here, and they grew up in the state playing AAU and playing for Bergman at West High and winning state championships. And you think of Aaron White and Jared Uthoff and Cassell and Woodbury and Clemens. I mean, that group, what they did. And then the first group, Jared Cole, Matt Gatens, Zach McCabe, Bryce Cartwright, Eric May, and Devin Marble really came into his own that year. So Peter Jock, can't forget about him. But there's so many, Nicholas Bear, so many great players, but every one of them, to a man, is a character guy. And that's why I always say I never take for granted one day being a Hawkeye coach. I take great pride in that. And I bring guys in that anybody that wore that jersey, anybody that follows or roots for our team can be proud to get behind.
And, Coach, one guy, as you're rattling off the names of those great Hawkeyes, Gabe Olashaney, still playing professionally over in Great Britain, and I see his clips on social media. He's tearing it up.
One of the finest gentlemen I've ever coached. One of the first guys I reached out to when Jack Nungy's dad passed, because we went through it with him. And just such a kind person and just keeps getting better. He was in France playing for the English national team when we got a hold of him. So I'm thrilled that he's playing for the English national team. I'm thrilled that he's doing what you said in terms of playing at a high level professionally, making a terrific living. Again, one of my favorite people that I've ever coached.
And, Coach, as we go through here, a guy you've referenced, but I think that you stand up and applaud our guys, Joe Wieskamp. I think he's deserving of all the accolades we could throw at him for his play this past week. He really got you off and going early against North Carolina.
Well, the thing that I think's been impressive about Joe is the complete skill set that he's exhibiting right now. Like yesterday, he just kept cutting and getting layups. And then I thought he drove the ball really well against Iowa State. He shot it from three. He killed it against Carolina. But he's been on the glass in every game, and his assist turnover numbers have been really good. Feeding Luka, passing the ball to other people. That, I think, has been the most impressive part about his game. You know, you look and say, you know, the kid's a terrific player. He whacked 5 threes against Carolina. How cool is that? And it is. But I'm looking for more. And he worked really hard this spring, summer, and fall on making that kind of thing happen for himself. And I think that's a great feeling as a coach when you see that kid put the time in and then experience the benefit of it.
Fran, on Twitter, Jason, Coach, I love that you put Aaron Ulis on the court in the first half. Is that because he's improving, or was it because Joe T had 2 fouls?
Combination of both. I wanted to get Aaron and Tony in the first half, and even Chris if I could. But you get to a point where it's just really hard to get, 12 guys in. It just does, the math doesn't work. If you're trying to get minutes for Keegan, Patrick, Jack, Joe, right? There's your 9. Then Aaron, Tony, Chris, and then Ash would probably be the next one, the way he's shooting the ball. So it's just nice to know that I can go that deep if I have to. And I just keep encouraging those guys to work hard because they're going to be great Hawks before they leave here.
We have on YouTube, in the YouTube chat room at Hawkeye Radio Network, Catherine, Coach, the team is excellent. However, other programs notice this, and they will try to recruit members of your staff, including you. How can you keep your coaching staff intact and here for the long run? All right, Catherine, she's worried about the coaching staff being broken up.
Yeah, the thing about that is, it's part of the industry. And I think a lot of people year in and year out enjoy kind of talking about it. Who's going here? Who's going there? We're not that kind of place. I think if you look at, I'm in year 11. Kirk's been here over 20 years. Lisa's been here a long time. Tom Branson's been here a long time. Gary Bard is not a knee jerk, and neither has Bruce Harreld. He's a rock. But there's also another reason. It's you live here and you experience what it's like, and you enjoy it. You enjoy the people. Sometimes guys leave not because they necessarily want to leave their job. They leave the state. They leave the city. They don't like their boss. They don't like the people they're working with. There's a variety of reasons why coaches leave. And it's not always because they get poached. So, you look at Kirk Spiro and Sherman Dillon have been with me for 11 years. Billy Taylor's been with me twice. His children have grown up here. His son Fabian's going to play for West High. He'll be teammates with Jack next year. This year, Sabian should be starting for them. So we're all happy. We work for good people. We are employed by a place that we believe in. I have 2 sons that go here. Billy's got a daughter that goes here. Kirk had 2 daughters graduate from here. He graduated from here. So, the reality is we are at the highest level. So you don't come to Iowa and look for your next job. And the truth of the matter is if you're at the low to mid-major level, you very well may have your eye on the highest level. You want to see if you can coach at the Power 5 level. Can I coach amongst the big boys? So when I first got here, can I battle with Tom Izzo, John Beeline, and right on down the line. Bo Ryan at the time, Mark Turgeon.
Matt Painter.
Matt Painter's, one of the best coaches that I've coached against in 38 years. And I coached against him before I got here. So it's just what this league is, and I always say this, whereas I think you could look at it as being really stressful. To me, I think it's the fun of it. Like, that's why we do it. We want to play against the best teams and the best coaches.
Well, there you go, Catherine. Catherine,
that's what we're doing.
Good answer. Catherine should sleep easy tonight. And before we take a break here, you mentioned Billy Taylor. Bobby and I were giving him a plaudits yesterday or Friday, I can't remember which, just recently inducted or will be into the Illinois Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame. Good for Billy.
And well deserved. Obviously, I recruited him. I went and saw him when he was a sophomore. Really good player. Really good player for us at Notre Dame. Class act, phenomenal family man, great family. And it's great when you can look back and feel like all that you did when you were a high school athlete is being recognized, because he is truly a Hall of Famer.
And, Coach, he was Aurora West for legendary
West.
Coach. Help me out. I couldn't come
Gordy
up.
Kirkman.
Yeah, thank you. Gordy Kirkman. Yep. Been there forever.
Well, Billy, congratulations. Illinois Coaches Basketball Hall of Fame. Got to take a break here. We'll come back with more comments and questions for Coach McCaffery and a U.S. Bank scoreboard update. There was a game in the Big Ten tonight, Rutgers and Maryland. We'll have that result when we return on Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hidden phone trade-ins, hidden plan requirements, hidden catches. You won't find them at U.S. Cellular because we speak fair. Plus, when you switch right now, you can get $500 off the latest phones. That's right, $500 off the latest phones with no hidden requirements, no hidden plan requirements, no hidden phone trade-ins, and no hidden... You get the idea. Upgrade to fair. Upgrade to U.S. Cellular. Requires new postpaid service plan, new line port in, credit approval, qualified smartphone purchase, and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month RIC. Taxes, fees, and additional terms apply.
Like any winning team, it takes every part of EMC insurance companies working together to successfully ensure that our agents, policyholders, and employees can count on EMC. And they do. They count on our broad range of insurance products and services. They count on our superior level of personalized service, and they trust that we will continue to be a financially stable partner, just like we have been for more than 100 years. All of this makes EMC one of the nation's premier insurance companies, and that's something you can always count on.
This Christmas season, our Shields family would like to take a moment to pause and recognize the people who surround us. We're grateful for the blessings of family and friends who support and guide us. For moms and dads, brothers and sisters, friends and neighbors, thank you for your kindness and care, even when we couldn't be together. From all of us at Shields, thank you, and have a Merry Christmas.
Primary care providers should be able to look at patients, read between the lines, and know something's not right. Hi, I'm Dr. Denise Martinez at University of Iowa Healthcare. 80% of conditions can be treated by a family medicine doctor, so our comprehensive and caring approach is key. And if it turns out to be serious or out of our scope, we'll connect you to the right specialists right away. With experts all across the region, find one near you at uihc.org.
Imagine a virtual club that's free to join, where the fun never stops and where there's always something new and exciting happening. It's the Prize Zone, a special part of the Iowa Lottery VIP Club that'll make your VIP experience even VIP-ier. Members can enter Prize Zone drawings for cash, technology, lottery tickets, concert tickets, and sports ticket prizes all day, every day, all year long. Get rules and complete details at ialottery.com. Join today and see what's waiting for you in the VIP Club Prize Zone.
Go back to Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Let's take a look at the U.S. Bank scoreboard. One game in the Big Ten tonight, 74-60. Rutgers defeats Maryland. So the Scarlet Knight gets their first Big Ten season opening win in school history, at least since joining the Big Ten. Coach Peichel has another good team this year. They're ranked in the top 25. Rutgers 74 and Maryland 60. Ron Harper Jr. had 27 points, and Rutgers is now 5-0. Gonzaga will remain 3-0. The Zags had their game, number 1 Gonzaga, Iowa's opponent Saturday, postponed tonight with Idaho. Later, it's Marquette at number 9 Creighton. DePaul Villanova postponed by COVID issues. And that's our U.S. Bank scoreboard update. Fran, before we, I'll tell you what, let's pause 10 seconds right now for station identification. Station ID time. You're listening to Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery on Learfield, IMG College. And welcome back to Coach McCaffery's show. Fran, you were mentioning Suggs, Jalen Suggs, a little earlier for the Zags, and watching him play and recruiting him through the AAU tournaments and whatnot. Was reading today about A.J. Green's misfortune at Northern Iowa. I know how much you respect A.J. and his dad and the phenomenal talent that he is at Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa has also shut down their basketball activities for the next few days. A.J. is going to have hip repair surgery. I don't know if it's similar to Jordan Bohannon's issues last year, but I know you think the world of A.J.
Yeah, I really think the world of his mom and dad, both. I mean, when we go on the road as an AAU program, you know, and AJ was between Connor and Patrick, so we were always in the same places. And this, what I'm talking about, over like 6 years. So you this week you're in St. Louis, and the next week you're in Chicago, then you're in Ames, then just Kansas City. So we're traveling. We all stay in the same hotels. We see each other. We root for each other. And I watched that kid grow up. Anybody in college basketball last year, I thought, legitimately. I mean, very consistent. And I think, there's a lot of kids on that team right now that really established themselves last year, starting with, Austin Fife, another terrific player. So you look at that roster they had coming back, then you add in a Bowen Bourne, and you're thinking, okay, that's the preseason pick to win the league. And so you're worried about COVID, and they've had some COVID issues, but now you factor in regular injuries. And now you're down to numbers where you can't play. Because it's not just COVID. It's how many scholarship guys do I have available to play, and is it fair to the guys who are left? So I feel terrible for AJ. He'll get it fixed. It's going to be a lengthy rehab. We know that, but it'll happen for him. I think the best thing he's doing is having it done now, so that he can take his time with his rehab and be ready to go next year.
And, Coach, I'm going to shift gears just a little bit. And I ask you this question every year, but tell our fans who are maybe tuning in for the first time in a while that the scouting reports is so important to the success of the team. Guys got to be on the same page, but you do it a little bit differently than a lot of places. Guys are assigned, your coaches are assigned to certain teams.
Yeah, so for example, for the Gonzaga game, Billy Taylor's been working on them for over a week. So he's watched all their games, watched games from last year, done research, looked at the numbers, evaluated the players that transferred in at their previous locations. So you get the personnel tendencies, play calls, defenses, things they do well, things they don't do well. You put highlight tapes together that are really, I should really say not highlight, they're teaching tapes where you're making specific teaching points as you prepare for Gonzaga. What do they do in transition? What do they do in transition defense? How do they play half-court defense? What kind of rebounding team are they? Are they a mistake team? Well, no, they're not. They're not ranked number one for a reason. So by the time I sit down and watch tapes with Billy, he's already got the scouting report done and processed and knows exactly what they do, how they do it, why they do it. So we started that today because we played yesterday. So I'm not looking at Gonzaga tape until we beat Northern Illinois. And I didn't look at Northern Illinois tape until, we beat Iowa State and right on down the line. So it's phenomenally thorough. It's phenomenally in-depth. We require our guys to remember a lot of information, which goes on top of all the different things that we do. We have a very sophisticated play card, which means what we run against man, what we run against zone, what we run on out-of-bounds plays on the side, what we run out of bounds underneath the basket, what we run against zone, what we run against the press, what we run with our late game package. And then so not only do they have to know all that stuff, they've got to know all the spots. Because we might have a small lineup, we might have a big lineup, we might have a lineup that we didn't expect to have because 4 guys are in foul trouble. So you really got to be locked in to what we're doing and who we're playing and what they do. And then, like, for example, Sunday was a one-day prep. So we played Iowa State on Friday night. We played Northern Illinois at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Saturday was a long day. So you got to flush the Iowa State report and then lock into the Northern Iowa report. Now let's say, okay, well, we have a few days for Gonzaga. We can catch our breath. Well, sort of, because as Dahl pointed out at the start of the show, this is finals week. So let's never forget what our priorities are. They're here to get an education, and we want to make sure they're on top of it academically.
Fran, and we're going to let you get back to the scout and film room here in just a minute. A couple other quick questions, and we'll take a break. Tim, in the YouTube chat room, can you talk about how you schedule non-conference games and how you decide who to play and when and where? Essentially, how do you decide on scheduling a Northern Illinois and then a Gonzaga? You're going to play Iowa State every year, and the Big Ten ACC Challenge. But I know we've talked about this with you before about you're very planning ahead on a non-conference schedule because the Big Ten schedule is really going to be brutal. And then my final question for you, Fran, is. What problems does finals week pose for you, especially trying to get ready for number one?
Yeah, well, the final schedule kind of affects when and how long you can practice. So we'll just, I don't think it's a disadvantage to anybody. We just kind of are used to dealing with it. We get the final schedules. Okay, we can practice this day at this time. We can practice this day at this time, and rely on the guys to try to be getting enough sleep and eat right. And as we get towards the end of the week, most of the guys will be done, and then we can really lock in. Scheduling, the other part of the question, it's more complicated than people think. This year in particular, because we didn't know. All right, so all of a sudden we're playing 27 instead of 31. That's if you're in an MTE. All right, some MTEs were canceled, some games were canceled, so we left some flexibility to reschedule other teams. So you kind of have a stable of games that you might play. But in a normal year, it has become a little more streamlined. You're going to play 20 league games. You're going to play an MTE, which is going to be 3 or 4 games potentially. Might be 2 like this year. We're going to play the ACC Big Ten Challenge, typically the Big East Big Ten Challenge, and Iowa State. So then you do the math. Okay, maybe there's 4 games left. Maybe there's 5 games left, depending. All right. Well, now we need a game on this day. Who's available? Do we want to do we want to step up and play at Oregon State and Sioux Falls like we were going to do this year or last year, go to Chicago and add Cincinnati? Well, we would do that when we think we have a good team. Yes, we will. Otherwise, if you have a really, really young team, you might play a team at home that you feel more comfortable that you can beat, but who will challenge you, and get those guys some minutes so they can develop confidence. Because if all you do is play Gonzaga, North Carolina, Iowa State, Michigan, Purdue, Indiana, then your young guys never get their feet wet. They never get settled down. So there's got to be a little bit of understanding, especially early in the season. So that's kind of how we do it.
Coach, thanks so much for your time tonight, and we'll talk later in the week and see you in Sioux Falls.
Forward to it, guys.
Yeah, thank
Fran.
you.
Coach Fran McCaffery, he's off to get his Hawkeyes, number 3 ranked Hawkeyes, ready for number 1 Gonzaga. Bobby and I will have the call for you Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock for pregame coverage here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We're going to start the day with a big win over Gonzaga and end it with a big football win over Michigan.
Boom. 2-0.
It's been fun these last 9-10 days, hasn't it? I mean, last week, and I'm throwing Iowa women in there. They're phenomenal win over Iowa State. Had a great game at Michigan State. You heard Lisa with Jan and Rob Brooks earlier before our program took here. We'll come back with a scoreboard update next year on Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery.
Staying connected means games can still feel like this, even if they actually sound like this. That's why U.S. Cellular is building a 5G network that works from outside to inside uninterrupted, so you can stay connected even if you aren't at the game. Right now, get unlimited data for just $30 a month. Check out uscellular.com for more info. U.S. Cellular. Upgrade to fair. Data may be temporarily slower than other traffic and times of congestion. Video streams at up to 480p DVD quality. Credit approval and autopay paperless billing required. Additional terms apply.
Iowa-based Renewable Energy Group is America's largest producer of biodiesel. Biodiesel delivers the performance farmers and fleet managers expect from their equipment. It's also one of the cleanest fuels available today. Using REG biodiesel is a simple way to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve air quality now with every tank full. For more than 20 years, REG has produced safe, clean, and high-quality sustainable fuel that's used in Iowa, across the U.S., and around the world. Learn more at regi.com.
Primary care providers should be able to look at patients, read between the lines, and know something's not right. Hi, I'm Dr. Denise Martinez at University of Iowa Healthcare. 80% of conditions can be treated by a family medicine doctor, so our comprehensive and caring approach is key. And if it turns out to be serious or out of our scope, we'll connect you to the right specialists right away. With experts all across the region, find one near you at uihc.org.
Get ready for more. Introducing Hy-Vee Plus. Get a Hy-Vee Plus premium membership for just $99 a year and get fuel savings every time you shop in-store and online. Plus, exclusive deals and offers every month. Plus, you can call our Red Line hotline day or night for anything you need. Plus, free online delivery and free express pickup. Plus, a personal online shopper. With Hy-Vee Plus, our plus equals more. Sign up today. Some restrictions apply.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. Gary Dolphin here for UPS. Your customers want more from your business. You've got to make more happen, whether they're in Coralville or on the other side of the world. Globally or locally, UPS is building solutions to help businesses give their customers exactly what they want. More made easy. UPS, the official logistics company of Iowa Athletics.
Experience the benefit of blue with a Medicare supplement plan from Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield. With our plans, you'll enjoy nationwide access to care, optional dental, vision, and hearing coverage, and more. Call 1-888-616-8927 or go online to wellmark.com/Medicare plans. You may even qualify for a special household discount. This is the benefit of blue. Wellmark Blue Dental product available to Iowa residents only. Must reside in the service area of the plan. Wellmark Medicare supplement insurance plans are not connected with or endorsed by any government agency.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk, brought to you tonight by Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light. Whenever there's a Hawkeye game to watch, there's a Bud Light right nearby. U.S. Cellular is the official wireless sponsor of Iowa Hawkeye basketball. U.S. Cellular, connecting Hawkeye Nation. And, of course, we wouldn't dare not mention our friends at Iowa Corn and the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series, which is on hold this season. Iowa's corn farmers will continue to stand behind this unique series and everything it stands for. Iowa State has a special ring to it. Here in Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Scoreboard update early on. It's Creighton 9, Marquette 8. The Blue Jays are playing well with head coach Greg McDermott. Rutgers earlier tonight beat Maryland in a Big Ten opener, 74-60. Gonzaga was to have played tonight, but top-ranked Zags had their game with Idaho canceled due to COVID issues. Same thing, postponed DePaul and Villanova in the Big East. Everybody wants to emphasize, Bobby Hansen, the games that are canceled or postponed. You know, I tend to flip it over and say, yeah, that's unfortunate, but 80% of the games have been played. That's terrific.
That's a good number right there, because I think we're all in the middle of an unknown, and it was obviously a wonderful news today with those FedEx and UPS trucks delivering those vaccines and getting them in the arms of our frontline healthcare workers.
Maybe that'll make the front page of the newspaper tomorrow.
Well, it should, numbers, but let's get a handle on this.
Yeah, indeed. No, it's great to see. Monday Night Football, Cleveland and Baltimore have just started the second period, and they're tied up at 7. That's our U.S. Bank scoreboard update. Bobby and I will come back and talk more Hawkeye Gonzaga basketball next on Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery.
Well, winter is right around the corner. Before you travel for the holidays, get a free vehicle winter inspection from my dad, Brian Sekfetz, and his staff at Dodge Street Tire and Auto. For 25 good years, they've been your family-friendly, dependable, and honest neighborhood auto repair shop. That's why their loyal customers have once again voted Dodge Street Tire as the best in the area. Don't be left out in the cold. Dodge Street Tire and Auto, at the corner of Dodge and Church Street.
American Equity salutes today's hero of the game and is a proud sponsor of the ongoing recognition of our military at Hawkeye Games this season. Thank you to all the men and women, past and present, who have served our country and allow all of us to enjoy the freedom and liberty we enjoy today. American Equity's vision is to become the premier insurance company specializing in retirement savings and income products. To learn more about our company, please visit our website at american-equity.com.
Are you looking to downsize from your family home to begin your retirement years? Our Oak Knoll East campus is for you. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director at Oak Knoll. Our new campus has many unique amenities for your active lifestyle, in addition to providing the same great services that Oak Knoll has offered our residents for over 50 years. We're now open and have a few 2-bedroom apartments still available. Call me at 319-351-1720 or visit oakknoll.com to set up your personal tour. Go Hawks!
Champions share common traits: integrity, reliability, hard work, and innovation. Your Better Business Bureau knows championship companies. We conduct background checks and listen to consumers around Iowa and Illinois, so we know the true character of these companies. Let the BBB match you with a championship company when you're hiring a contractor, using a business, or need a service. The Better Business Bureau is an Iowa nonprofit serving our neighbors for over 80 years. BBB help and information is free, so find us at bbb.org/Iowa.
MidAmerican Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Gary Dolphin, Bobby Hansen back on Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. We appreciate Fran's presence tonight for a little over an hour, and he's off to the war room with Spiraw and Sherman Dillard and Kirk, Billy Taylor. That's an interesting comment that one of our texters or Facebookers checked in with tonight. This staff has been together almost from day one. They've lost Andrew, I think, was the only assistant that has left the program, and Billy Taylor was here, left, and came back. So kind of like Kirk Ferentz staff, it's hard to beat that stability. Yeah, continuity of your leadership there. The guys that building relationships out there on the recruiting trail, paying off. And Sherman Dillard goes out to East Coast and gets Luca Garza and Jack Nungy, that same year. And just, done an absolutely fantastic job. And this is going to be one of those years where it's going to pay off this year. Speaking of consistency, we talked about Fran and his 450 career wins, 200 here at Iowa. Mark Few, I've always admired him from afar. Don't know Mark that well. 21 seasons now as the head coach at Gonzaga, 19 conference championships out of 21 years. He was an assistant 10 years before that at Gonzaga. Waited his turn and got to the national championship game in 2017. That's when they beat the Hawks out in Seattle in the tournament. He's been to 3 Elite Eights. He's had teams in 9 Sweet 16s. And we talked about the Big West Conference, which they've dominated, but they'll go anywhere in America and play. I mentioned at the top of the show, they have 9 consecutive wins over Big 12 opponents. This is one heck of a legitimate number 1 program the Hawks are taking on Saturday. They certainly made that step up, and Fran's exactly right. I mean, that year we went out in Seattle, and Kyle Wiltshire pulled up and hit from about 35 feet the first shot of the game, and they never really looked back from there. The big guy Karnowski in the middle, and young Sabonis played against his father, Arvydas Sabonis, big Russian dude, and then the kid Sabonis now playing. DeMonte, I think is his name, Sabonis, playing with the Pacers, having a great NBA career. So they go all over the world to get players. Mark Few, it's a private school out there, private Jesuit school. I first became familiar with him when playing with John Stockton, who probably all-time great from Gonzaga. And didn't know much about him, but we played an exhibition game up there and got to hang out at his dad's place, Jack and Dan's, right across the street from campus. And a lot of pride in that program in the city of Spokane, Washington. John Stockton voted one of the top 50 players in the history of the NBA, and he's won 2 gold medals, 92 and 96 in the Olympics. And he was your teammate for how long in Utah? We were together for 6 of my 7 years, yeah. No doubt about it. I tell the story that my second year they drafted John, and we had a all-star, Ricky Green from Michigan, as a returning starter. Well, about the first week of practice in training camp, I think everybody kind of got their heads together and realized, Gary, that he was not a backup. He was going to be the starter. They moved Ricky, and John started the next year. He and I started together all 82 games. My third year, his second year in the league. A true bulldog, John Stockton is. Yeah. And I think of Gonzaga basketball. I think of Dan Dickow and Adam Morrison. Adam Morrison had the floppy black haircut. He could shoot from about 40 feet. He reminded me a lot of Rick Mount. Yeah. He wasn't Rick Mount, but he, great players. Through it all, the young man played with diabetes. I forgot about that. Yeah. You're right. He was constantly checking the blood sugar. Well, I'm really looking forward to this game because the two teams very similar in talent, in style. They run, they compete, they push the ball, as Fran said. This one, I'm hoping the Iowa defense limits the Zags, but this could be a 95-90 game. Yeah, Iowa's a better shooting team, Gary, from deep. They have much better three-point shooters on. You look at the stats here as you get deeper into the game. I don't think Gonzaga's shooting maybe just barely 30% from three. They're going to take it to the hole. Jalen Suggs is a drive guy. But, Timmy, Drew Timmy, the big guy, he's not a big physical player. He'll have his hands full with Luka, but he will get out and run, and they will throw the ball ahead to try to get easy layups. Ayayi, young man from France, is an athlete on the wings, and we hadn't talked about the kid Kispert, number 24, who is a lot like Joe Wieskamp. Looking forward to that matchup, Corey Kispert and Joe Wieskamp. All those big guys, hopefully the zone press turns them over. Gonzaga is very good at taking care of the basketball, but we shall see. That's 10 o'clock for Bobby and yours truly in the pregame coverage, and 11 o'clock for the tip-off from the Pentagon in Sioux Falls, the Hawks and Gonzaga. Hey, search your favorite podcast platforms and subscribe to the official podcast of the Iowa Hawkeyes, the Fight for Iowa podcast presented by Iowa Lottery. Podcast is also available on HawkeyeSports.com. New episodes every Wednesday. Back to wind down our Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery program for this Monday night, right after this pause.
This holiday, how we celebrate may change, but our traditions remain the same. Like playing the Iowa Lottery's Winter Wonderland promotion. 13 new games and the biggest Play It Again prize pool ever. More than $600,000. And one lucky VIP club member will win a cool $250,000. So join us in the Winter Wonderland, because winning is one tradition that never changes. Visit ialottery.com for rules and complete details. Woohoo!
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
Whether it's a commercial, residential, healthcare, or industrial project, Carpenters Union Local 1260 provides a professional and productive workforce on time and on budget. And Union Carpenters also have specialized COVID prevention training to allow for the safest environment possible. Since 1902, Carpenters Union Local 1260 has been building the University of Iowa, and that relationship continues today as a proud partner of Hawkeye Athletics. To find a union contractor and union carpenters for your next job, visit carpentersunionlocal1260.com or call 319-338-1638. Iowa-based Renewable Energy Group is America's largest producer of biodiesel. Biodiesel delivers the performance farmers and fleet managers expect from their equipment. It's also one of the cleanest fuels available today. Using REG biodiesel is a simple way to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve air quality now, with every tank full. For more than 20 years, REG has produced safe, clean, and high-quality sustainable fuel that's used in Iowa, across the U.S., and around the world. Learn more at regi.com.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. Gary Dolphin here for UPS. Your customers want more from your business. You've got to make more happen, whether they're in Coralville or on the other side of the world. Globally or locally, UPS is building solutions to help businesses give their customers exactly what they want. More made easy. UPS, the official logistics company of Iowa Athletics.
Feel the power. Feel the speed. Feel extreme. Hawk fans, get extreme. Powered by MediaCom. And experience streaming so real you can feel it. Whether you're live streaming the game or streaming your favorite series, with supercharged speeds up to 1 gig and powerful whole home Wi-Fi, you're in it. Our 100% gigabit technology network was built to take you further. Get ready to feel it. Extreme. Powered by MediaCom.
Gary Dolphin with former Hawkeye great NBA champion Bobby Hansen as we wind down Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery's show tonight, Hawk Talk. We've been previewing Iowa, ranked number 3. The new rankings are out. The Hawks are number 3. Gonzaga 1. It's still 1, 2, 3. Gonzaga, Baylor, and Iowa. Michigan State has crept up to number 4. What a shock. Tom Izzo's got the Spartans playing at a high level. This Saturday, it's 10 o'clock pregame, 11 o'clock for the tip. Luka Garza with 25 career double-doubles. Obviously, he's key, but you know, Jordan Bohannon was just made for moments in games like this, Bob. He said it the other night after the North Carolina game when he swished through 7 threes. He's going to be critical on Saturday to settle everybody down and then hunt his shots.
He will be, and C.J. Frederick as well. C.J.'s a big game player, and look for him to get open for some shots and take it hard to the hole, get to the free throw line. But I like the way the Hawkeyes shoot the ball, and it's going to be tough to beat when everybody's hitting on all cylinders.
When you're playing number 1, the start of the game is critical, isn't it?
It is. You don't want to get in the hole, but it's not the end of the world if it does happen. You just got to fight your way back and, again, stick with the game plan. And we got the man in the middle, Luka Garza, who can do it all, and just got to keep these kids healthy and get them through this week with the interrupted practice schedule and all that, the final exams going on, and then off to Sioux Falls.
Luka can settle anything down and get you into a flow. The Hawkeyes averaging north of 90 points a game, roughly 95 points a game. That helps when you have an offense like that, no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, it does. Tough to keep up with the Hawks when they're running it up and down the court. Gonzaga, as you mentioned, Gary, similar style of play. They don't have the shooters like the Hawkeyes.
See you Saturday, bud.
All right, bud.
Yeah, I'll be here Wednesday for Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz, and we'll preview Iowa, Michigan. Lots to talk about there. Thanks to the 1201 Kitchen and Tap just off I-80 at the Hampton Inn and Radisson Hotel Conference Center for sponsoring Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for all your questions. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, this has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery, presented by 1201 Kitchen and Tap in Coralville, featuring an extensive menu of steak, seafood, and sandwiches, along with a full bar and wine selections. Also brought to you in part by Bud Light. Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Hy-Vee, save time and shop online with Hy-Vee Aisles Online. Go to HyVeeAislesOnline.com. U.S. Bank, helping individuals and businesses work toward their financial goals. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S. Cellular. U.S. Cellular